This is Jonathan Ferguson, the Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett. Today we're at the Royal Armouries in person for Cursemas, our month-long series of very special episodes where we're checking out a selection of weird and wonderful weaponry from across video games and movies. Today we're breaking down a whole selection of cursed weapons from across cinema, including a double-barrel Deagle, a questionably positioned revolver, and my personal favourite sci-fi firearm.
What's weird it's weird to sort of dissect the ZF1, because you look at it now and you're like, well, those homing bullets, they're not a bajillion miles away from the guided bullets that you've mentioned before.
Things like that do exist, and this is just the arms dealer's patter and product dialed up to 11 for satirical value, essentially. This thing does literally everything you could possibly want, all in one package.
Each episode contains a secret special Cursemas gift for Jonathan. Stay tuned to find out what this week's gift is. And if you want to treat yourself, be sure to check out our selection of cursed shirts and accessories at expvideo.info. We also have a longer director's cut version of this episode over on our Patreon, link in the description below for that extended cut. But now, without further ado, let's get into the video.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
You said I'm boring. My gun has 2 barrels. That's not boring.
So you can see why I've asked you to grab 2 Black Desert Eagles.
Yeah.
Hit movie The Green Hornet. Thank you to our patrons for suggesting a lot of these films, by the way. I'd forgotten this film even existed, for good reason.
I still haven't ever seen it. It's such a weird prop, and I can't remember. I think this. What year is this?
About 2011.
Okay, so this post date, or at least they wouldn't have been aware of the dual 1911, the Arsenal AF 2011, roughly contemporary. Maybe they had some heads up that it existed, and made. I thought this was a riff on that pistol, even though it's Desert Eagle. Now I'm really not sure because the timeline doesn't seem to make sense. What it actually is one of these with 2 mock-up things either side. And I don't actually know how it functions, if they've just strapped some lightweight slides to the Desert Eagle slides so that they cycle when he shoots. There isn't a real double Deagle.
Not yet.
If the things either side, if they've somehow put ports through to those barrels or something, or in some way put tubes in them such that they're barrels, then it's 3 barrels, because that thing in the middle is a Desert Eagle.
You can even see the front sight post.
You can see the front sight post at the front, you can see the hammer at the back, which ostensibly is firing both barrels. And of course it would be astonishingly heavy if it was really made of steel. What just happened there?
So he can tilt the barrels outward to make the shots move further apart. So
sorry, you mean outward like this?
Yeah,
so I didn't even
the
pick
point
up
of
on that.
impact moves away.
I could see they'd moved. Wasn't tracking in what way.
So somehow he's been able to
see.
move them horizontally to hit those 2 cables.
Such a weird idea. I feel like the armourers have done their best, but it isn't quite what was envisaged.
Thankfully, we do not need a physical prop for this one.
No, although I would absolutely acquire it if it was available at a reasonable price. Although I'd do it for its iconic status, not because it's a good movie design. I'm sorry. It's done the job. People love the prop, but I can never get over the fact that the revolver cylinders can't possibly feed the barrel.
I mean, that might actually, funnily enough, be the least of its problems.
Maybe. Now, funnily enough, the closest to this I have ever seen, and it's actually not a million miles away, is a sporran pistol in the collection of the National Museums of Scotland, or National Museum of Scotland.
So a pistol that lives in a sporran.
It's part of the sporran and it fires from inside the sporran. It doesn't flick up, but it's like I can't remember if it was designed as a I think it was designed as a trap so that if you put your hand in it, it would fire. I don't think it's meant for wearing and like thrusting bullets at the enemy or anything. It was like a booby trap. But it's a real thing. Very early 19th century, I think. Don't quote me.
So never put your hand in a Scotsman sporran without permission.
Really probably the closest thing. No, we don't have anything close to this. Another adjacent thing would be the North American Arms belt buckle revolver, where it's one of their little tiny revolvers embedded in a belt buckle that you can pop out and shoot with. There's nothing in real life like this, really. Needless to say, but I said it anyway. And that gun is just so silly. But again, on behalf of the nation, I would have considered adding it to the... Never been a prospect.
On behalf of the nation.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the acquisition paperwork for the genital gun, let's call it?
But if someone's got that prop and they don't want it anymore, send Jonathan an email.
There is a plausible gun design in there somewhere, and maybe this was the intent, is that you would have a triple rotating cylinder setup that rotates behind the barrel, but you'd need a very different design because you'd need something to support the barrel.
That barrel's supported quite enough, thank you.
And then, of course, you have to try and... I think, do they CGI do the flick up anyway? I'm not sure that's practical. So yeah, if I was going to kind of... You'd need the cylinders spinning on their own axes on a triple setup, and he somehow fires, let's not worry about how, all 6 shots and then spins it around to the next one, and that justifies having the, dare I say, testicles.
Dare I say?
Well, I say dare I say because I was going to call them something ruder, but...
Is that the first time you've said testicles in a professional capacity?
Testicles, that's twice.
Gonads.
Gonads.
Gonads is pretty good.
Well done. I should have remembered why you wanted a Mac 10 with a suppressor.
Yeah.
Because this is actually quite an iconic setup. I didn't, because I've not seen it in about 20 years.
It's been a long time since I've seen it as well. But submachine gun, long suppressor, sniper scope, that's pretty cursed. It's iconic, but it's also pretty cursed.
If we had a means of putting a scope on this, we would have done, or you would have mentioned it at this point. Oh, I won't take it off, but there's a spring that holds this cover on to give you something to hold, because suppressors get very hot. So this is realistically what it would look like. But then he does a lot of one-handing and just has a scope on that he never uses.
An optic on a suppressor, twisting it on, you're going to have to be quite precise with where that
You just can't be that
lives.
precise, basically. It makes no sense at all. But then, because this has the cocking handle on the top, unless you bridged it or something, there's no way to put it on there, which is why they put it on here. They just wanted something they're following the Star Wars rule of it's sci-fi if it's got a scope on it somewhere. I don't know what people are expected to think scopes do when they're not usable. It's just like it breaks up the outline and makes it look futuristic.
Kurt Russell's a strong guy.
He must be, yeah.
But holding all that weight, even with a bent elbow.
I was just going to say, you can see why he's got the bent elbow, because, that's much worse. His bolt is forward, though, so he can't shoot him currently. Often you'll see hammers, or well, in this case, a bolt forward, but on a pistol, hammer down. Always takes me out of the scene. They do it, I think, for safety reasons, so they're sure that the thing isn't a risk, or they just, because they haven't made it ready, they haven't bothered to cock it, and they don't think anyone cares, while I'm watching, and I'm going, that's not shootable.
So Spawn wanted to feature P90s.
Oh dear.
I don't think they could get hold of P90s.
Clearly not.
So they created this prop instead.
Bless them for trying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a damn sight better than I think I could do.
So they've done quite a good job of making the silhouette correct-ish and making it fit. So we're thinking it's an M11, are we?
Yeah, apparently it's an M11 with sheet metal built around it to create a P90.
Yeah, because it's sitting up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got one with the rail and the optic on it. The one they're copying is the traditional one with the ring sight.
But it looks like they've got a P90 mag, or again made something.
I think they've mocked something up.
Similar.
They really have done their best with what they've got. Are we sure it's an M11 and not a Mac 10? An M10?
I think it's an M11.
It seems a bit small. I would have used this. Honestly, guys, you should have just gone with MP5s.
Yeah, I suppose at this time period, the P90 was more sci-fi, but harder to get. They must just have been really...
SG1 managed it, but that might have been a little bit later. You're trying to make something from the prior generation look like something from what was then the current. But then the way, you don't see that much of them in the movie, I guess. If you went to see that at the cinema and came away, you went, oh, yeah, P90s. Unless you're really nerdy. Like
Unless you're
me.
us.
Voila, the ZF1.
So I have taken the excuse to talk about one of my favourite movie guns with you.
Anyone that doesn't think this is one of the most important movie guns is kidding themselves. And obviously within the sci-fi genre, it's even more up there.
And inside this prop is apparently one of these.
Yes.
The firing version.
Yes. Well, one of the firing versions. Oh, yeah, sorry. You're right. The gun firing prop is one of these concealed within a shell. And then they have different practical versions for the flamethrower version, for the rocket launching version, which was sold at Prop Store recently. All implying, of course, that it's one thing that's shifting around and morphing and transforming. I love it for it's like Lord of War, how it reflects the gun trade, the firearms industry, and just salesmen in general, really.
Yeah.
Something that isn't really documented is just how much corruption there has historically been around firearms procurement. Not really evident here, actually. He's just impressing them with how flexible it is. And he has the sales pattern.
My favourite.
What's weird it's weird to sort of dissect the ZF1 because you look at it now and you're like, well, those homing bullets, they're not a bajillion miles away from the guided bullets that you've mentioned before. There are weapons with multiple different armaments on the same weapon system. I don't think there's anything that freezes people, throws nets, and other things
There
like
are net guns keep being attempted. I fired one. It was actually two adjacent things. One was an anti-drone shotgun with a net, and the other was a bowler gun that shoots two weights on a bit of string, essentially, that wraps around someone's legs and makes them fall over. So things like that do exist. And this is just the arms dealer's patter and product dialed up to 11 for satirical value, essentially. This thing does literally everything you could possibly want, all in one package. And that's reflective also of stuff like the Stoner 63, where it's a suite of parts that you can build any gun you like out of. And later on with modular stuff, where you change barrel lengths, you change calibers, it's all things to all people. It's the only gun you're ever gonna need. That is being done right now somewhere around the world. Someone is making those claims.
I do wish it had more screen time.
True, yeah.
Because it's only used a couple of times.
But it's so memorable.
Yeah.
You know something. Yeah, it's not like the pulse rifle where it's throughout the movie. It's very much to do with one scene. And then, of course, what he's actually doing is distracting them so they can blow them up. So it subverts its own kind of setup. But yeah, I would never have guessed back in the day when I saw that first time that it was an AKS-74U inside that firing gun. If you look closely, you can see the differences between the
I reckon...
Simon Atherton, Zorg, he worked at Bapty, founded his own company called Zorg after that scene.
Yeah.
Because even for him, he's very much a professional. He's not so much into the nerdy stuff, but he recognised how important that scene was for his craft, for his trade, for his reputation, and he made his company name Zorg.
It's a good legacy to be a part of, that's for sure. So I've asked you to grab this grenade launcher and 2 AK mags, and it's because of this.
If I had a penny.
This is the other weapon.
Oh, the multipass.
Well, funny you mention that.
Hey!
Our final Cursemas gift to you.
I have seen I think it was Bruce Willis's taxi ID and the multipass, or one of the props, I guess. Sold at Prop Store.
I'm afraid this isn't the real deal.
They were very expensive even then, and that was a while ago.
But if you ever wanted to cosplay...
Oh, that's very cool, though.
...as Bruce Willis, or as Corbin Dallas, you now have your own multipass.
Amazing. That's extremely cool.
It's not bad, right? But back to the gun. So this is, basically, this covered in spikes, weird optic, and 2 AK mags.
2 backwards AK mags. What is going on with the backwards AK mags? Weirdly, it does sort of look right on the prop to have the 2 of these on facing backwards. But of course, if it's firing it, why are these 7.62 mags when it's like a 40mm launcher? I didn't know this was in the movie.
Yeah. It's
been a long time since I've seen it.
Look how disguised it is. It's got spikes on the muzzle. I love this.
Weird sight on it as well. This is worthy of a What's This Weapon episode, if only because it has no trigger. I wonder does this thing have a nod at a trigger?
He's got his hands near the bottom, so they
may not have needed it.
That chat about taking the weapon off safety and activating it, but it's never shot. It's literally just in this one scene.
You can see the what looks like a bolt handle is actually release for the pivoting grenade launcher barrel.
Give it a cash.
The random spikes. They're just having fun with this, aren't they? Even the ZF1 is, although it has a number of practical functions, is
I'm rewatching this one.
very silly.
I love this film so much.
Yeah, these things, I like the idea of the sort of diesel punk, riveted, boxy looking sheet metal bait, like the giant kind of Mac 10 style thing there, which is actually just an Uzi in a
box.
housing, but they've made the housing look a bit Ingram. Yeah, I get the sense, I know this isn't why, but it feels like they ran out of money and had to just do shells dropped onto existing guns. Whereas what we have in front of us, a lot more's been done to make them, let's put it that way. I think they all work in the movie. I like this film.
I'm a fan of this film.
Connery's last movie.
Who in God's name has automatic rifles?
Probably Belgium.
Probably Belgium. I forgot about that line.
Belgium would be a good guess, or Germany.
And now we get to some really esoteric stuff, of which we have in front of us.
Yes, we do. Captain Nemo and his submarine crew in particular, well, I guess his palace guard, effectively. What Bapty did was take the Sten Mark II. Under all of this gubbins is just a Mark II Sten, and they've taken the standard stock and just heated it up and bent it to make it look exotic. And then these bits, which look great on film, are plastic. They're molded plastic. These days they'd be 3D printing, obviously. Back then they were making molds out of random bits of metal, probably, and then casting plastic chunks. Yeah, almost fully disguised. These two are deactivated because they're mine.
Jonathan's personal collection.
Yes. If you visit the Royal Armouries, you will see two live ones on display, because we don't deactivate stuff. We don't like to change stuff, and we don't need to, so we don't. But this one, if anyone's wondering, that's why this one looks a bit funky in the ejection port area. They didn't have external cocking handles. The armourer had to loop a tool around and pull and cock them. I don't know why that was done.
Maybe just to keep the lines clean?
Maybe. I can't imagine it was for safety reasons. And then this white crackle paint on the trigger mechanism housing and on the mag. And this whole scheme is also on the car. The big long, that was sold about 5 years ago, I think. So
which is also in Jonathan's personal collection.
It is not, unfortunately, no. I wouldn't be able to afford these now, much less the car. And then the pistol that goes with that. So this is meant to be Nemo's. I think there were 4 of them made, at least. And multiples of these, because of course they had to equip multiple guards with them. Yeah, so you're showing me a picture of maybe this very gun. I don't know. And it is a
1911?
Close. TT-33.
Ah.
So there's a Tokarev, again, quite well disguised. The grip covers the back. The mag extension, very similar.
Oh, you can see it from
the
seeing it in
same.
person because it's thinner.
That gives it away. They put a spur on the trigger guard, which is a nice callback to some of those 19th century, like the Smith & Wesson No. 3, some of those had a spur on there. This, just nonsense, bolted to the bottom. Again, looks great from a distance, maybe not so good up close. That's probably the best use of the gun in the movie, or the only significant use, if I remember rightly.
A lot of design work has
That's
gone
the best
into
shot.
it, into these objects,
Yep.
and then they're, again, not featured that much in the film.
And we see why this is done. This tradition of cladding real guns in other stuff is so that they move and they flash and they react and the actor has something to work with. And if he ran out of ammo, you would definitely see that it is a TT pistol underneath. The slide serration's covered up. How he's supposed to aim it is questionable, because we've got something and then nothing.
There's a nubbin and then nothing, yeah.
The hammer, I suppose, is another kind of slight giveaway. But yeah, no, I love the production design. And just to take the premise in a different direction is valid. It just probably shouldn't have been branded League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
The dawn of a new generation in luxury personal weaponry.
I have a soft spot for the Beverly Hills Cop films, and this
I like the first one.
You don't love this scene, this weapon?
No. No, in fact, this is the poster child of IMFDB wherever someone hasn't fleshed out an article properly,
Yeah.
it says, nice, but where's the trigger? And it's this gun. This, in a way, feels like they've observed, I don't know, car sales of the period rather than gun sales. Not that they don't use attractive women in skimpy clothing to sell guns in the 80s, 90s, but this is done a bit more like a motorbike video sales ad or something, whereas the Zorg one feels quite true to life to me, somehow. Now that chicks with guns thing, that was a real big thing in the 80s and 90s. Not so much for sales, although there is a parallel with the booth babes, which have now kind of drifted away from arms shows a bit. Or at least they wear more clothes. I think the worst thing about it is the AR-15 poking out the front of it, because it's like, well, is that
the really only
deliberate?
gun bit?
That's probably why they did it. So they may have come up with something that looked like a VCR with a barrel, and they went, can we make that look more like a gun?
And I think it fires blanks, so it needed some gun bits.
I know, but they don't come out of the AR-15 bit.
No.
Because that's fake. I don't know, it's essentially a comedy thing, so it's kind of fine.
It's a comedy prop more than it is meant to be an actual
The problem
weapon.
is the ZF1 does the same thing better.
I don't think we can talk about cursed movie guns without talking about this horrendous thing.
No, I'm glad I have seen this already, so I can kind of deal with it. I think I'm more disturbed by him eating it than what he does with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that, especially with the sound effects.
Mouth sounds. Yeah, if it's possible to have a mild case of misophonia, I have it. Just gross.
I think we talked about this briefly. We did the survival horror episode, and Scorn came up.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, the people behind Scorn definitely watched Videodrome, definitely watched this.
The really weird thing is that the things he's sort of eating and putting together into this weird gun don't really look like anything identifiable. I mean, you can see some pelvis bones and ribs and stuff, but I'm not sure what sort of animal they're supposed to be.
I love that it's already mostly like a gun, and then he goes, oh, this is familiar. Is it just like a wishbone he finds amongst the carcasses as the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pulling out chunks of his teeth.
I mean, that's meant to be like a bridge or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
turns into the magazine.
dental prosthesis. He's not just ripped out part of his jaw, has he?
No, I don't think so.
The whole thing is pretty disturbing.
The slide.
The kind of slide/bolt situation it's very much an impression of a firearm. They're not trying to make it a close analog, really.
No.
Because you could have had like a bone 1911 with some blobby bits on it or something. And they certainly are not building it around a real gun, as would be standard at this time.
One of the most cursed guns in cinema, I'd say. That is also sort of not a gun.
Got to be the most, because of the multiple levels on which it is cursed.
Cobra. Not one of Stallone's most popular films.
No, a bit of a cult movie. We do get to see the guts of the Jatimatic, though, which I'd sort of forgotten. So it's cool that you get to see inside the gun. If you want to see more inside the gun, we have a video on the Jatimatic. Really odd finish design with the barrel at odds with the line of the receiver, which is deliberate. That and the way the bolt rides uphill is about deflecting the muzzle downward to control recoil. Not sure it really works, but... And there is a version with a stock, but most of them don't. None of ours do, and this one doesn't. So, and I think they've gone with the short mag, probably because it lines up with with that and looks quite good. And then the huge laser sight.
No, I wasn't aware of this gun until your video on it.
Like, why does he have this very specialist, rare weapon?
Yeah.
It's not really explained, but then that's the movie for you.
Not a lot is explained in this movie.
And the gunfights, for me, it's just like, I'm now shooting, now he's shooting, bad guy falls over. It's just narratively not good action. It's competently shot and acted and all of that, and we got a reload there. But there's something about, and this isn't really a slight on this film, it's movies of that era, and including Commando, to be honest. Commando just makes up for it in other ways. There's no real sense of who's where, who's shooting at whom, what for. It's all just automatic gunfire in two-way range.
There's something
very
about
unsatisfying.
the slower rate of fire, the Jatimatic as well, which
It is
sort
slow,
of
yeah.
feels like it slows down the action. I feel like it was at that period. It was all like Uzis or like high rate of fire to dial up that action. The chug of the Jatimatic feels out of place for this era of action movie. God bless him, Stallone.
I think I do like him as an action actor. I prefer Schwarzenegger, but Stallone has Demolition Man.
Yeah, and that does a lot.
Easily my favourite Stallone. This is another much derided film that I actually really like, and the weapon I always liked. This is another one that came up for sale not that long ago.
And this is more of a blessed gun than it is a cursed one.
Yeah, and it's totally scratch built as a prop, as far as I know. Really nicely done. Look at the engraving, the detail there. That drum attachment looks like a real component, but I can't think what it's from, if it is. So it's essentially like a 12 gauge rotary shotgun, like a striker, but rather than just get a striker and gussy it up with some stuff, they've designed and built something from scratch. And it's just a great prop.
Great sound effect as well.
Cross-shaped.
So it's been a long time since I've actually watched this properly. But upon rewatching some of these scenes for this, I got the feeling they're meant to be like holy fire rounds, like incendiary rounds, but holy fire.
Somehow.
It's
not really explained, but the build of the prop does a job of selling it as this is something special. This is like Excalibur in gun form.
Yeah. Like shells made from golden relics, melted down.
Yeah, I liked it for its own. It's got its own. It insists upon itself in a good way. Like this is how it is. This is what's used against that. Don't worry about it. And they really sell it as a firing weapon as well. Even though, as far as I know, there's nothing. It might have pyrotechnic capability, but I don't think it's functioning in any way. I haven't checked IMFDB on this. I must admit, ever. I don't think.
And the effect is so good. I don't even think by this time the CGI was all that.
No, they do a good job. In fact, yeah, it's a tongue of flame coming out the barrel. My money would be on gas, igniting propane gas for the firing shots. The hint of the reload of just a drum dropping to the deck is good. It might be magical, but it's not infinite. It didn't fire because he ran out of ammo. You've still got to have ammo for your... If your holy weapon is a gun, you've still got to have ammo for it.
So I'm not sure how familiar you are with Soviet-era cinema.
Not very.
This is something that I was not aware of. One of our patrons pointed this out in our Discord, that a lot of old Soviet films used STG 44s, added some gubbins to make them look like AR-10s and AR-15s to represent Western forces.
Okay.
There's multiple Soviet films that do that.
Very odd and very interesting.
Yeah.
Well spotted.
And they do, I mean, respectable job, but if you were watching this film all those years ago, you probably would have glanced at this and saw an M16 or an AR-15 or something akin to that.
Yeah. How odd.
There were 3 films in particular. The IMFDB page does a great job at documenting those. But you can see, the carry handle. They've made some other changes to the stock.
Yeah. So while American cinema was using, if they were lucky, a Colt SB1 or a 2.2 Army Jaeger diecast thing, because they couldn't get proper M16s either. Even harder in Soviet Russia. So I'm guessing it was Russia rather than another state.
It's within the USSR at least. But I mean, if you were going to use any weapon as a stand-in for an AR-15, if you didn't have anything akin to that, the STG sort of has some of those similar cues.
As I have previously noted, so I could make a silly joke about how they had them because they copied the AK from it. They didn't, but I have previously. Some of the reasons why it's not the case that the AK is a copy of this are push-button mag release, more like and a straight-in magazine, more like an AR-15 than an AK by far, and this dust cover. Very AR. So they've extended a They've put a handguard on to look like the triangular M16 handguard, and then they've put a fake extended barrel on the end
Yeah.
to make it look like an M16. I guess their main concern was to cast weapons that citizens won't have seen on military parades
Yes.
or served with as a conscript. So captured World War II German stuff makes sense.
But it's a respectable effort for the time period, the limitations they would have had for props. And again, like a piece of firearm cinema history, SDG 44 history that I had no idea about.
It is my very favorite gun.
So under all that is apparently a Saiga 12.
Correct, yes. I know a bit about this. I've handled it. I've had it demonstrated to me by the armourer, Larry Zanoff, who came up with it, with a colleague, I think. Designed and built for a movie called Showtime, originally, which I've never seen. And then when they were making Firefly, someone thought, or them presumably, offered this up to the makers as something very sci-fi looking. Because Showtime wasn't a sci-fi movie.
Oh.
It was contemporary.
This is not very contemporary looking.
New. So it folds up. It's got a woman's name in the best traditions of Brown Bess and things like the Dutch expression, my rifle is my wife.
I call it Vera.
With that weird sort of soldier's affinity for his weapon. It accompanies him everywhere, keeps him safe. It really is just a Saiga 12 shotgun with a load of it's a really good prop. It's all machined from steel and aluminium and other stuff. So that I don't think is ever going to leave the ISS collection over in the States. But I'm sure there's some people out there that would snap it up.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Your time for revenge is at hand.